Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You'll feel better with the coffee.
I like your energy. Appreciate it. Have a good one. How's it going? Good. Can I do a national park pass? Awesome, perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a great one.
Thank you, you as well. We made it. We're in the park. So last night was hopefully the last night we're gonna have to spend in the heat. We spent it at some gas station in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas just before going into Sequoia National Park, which we're at today. And yeah, I'm hoping it's one of the last days we'll have to spend in the heat, because tonight we're spending the night up in the mountains just outside of the national park. We're supposed to get down to 50 instead of being 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But we've got about a 45-minute drive from the entrance of the park to where we're going. So we woke up extra early this morning to make it into where we're currently at, which is Sequoia National Park. One, because it's a Saturday and I just don't feel like dealing with the mass amount of people in parking, so we got in here early, got a parking spot, take the shuttle everywhere else. And yeah, I don't think I've ever had such a significant elevation change in such a short period of time. We went from basically sea level to where we're at now, which is I think 6,000 feet. I'm not too sure, I don't have service in the park. And I forgot that when I change elevation, the toilet in my van, like builds up pressure on the inside because it's sealed. So then when I went to go to the bathroom in it, when I got up here, I pulled the flush and got sprayed in the face with a bunch of piss. So that was a great way to start the day. But if there was ever a place on earth that was gonna make you feel small, this is it. So this is the second oldest national park in America, and the first one that was ever created to protect a living thing, these gigantic sequoia trees. And I don't really think the camera's gonna do it any justice for just how absolutely massive this tree is. This isn't even the biggest one, not even close. But it is crazy how tall this thing is. First things first, I gotta figure out how the shuttle system works and where the stop is, because I'm gonna have no service and I have no idea. But before we get into any of that or the rest of this video, I do want to take a second to thank this video's sponsor, Printful, which is a service that I have used for years to help me build my own brands like these shirts right here. So I know firsthand how hard and how scary it is to build a brand online. It sounds all fun and games until you realize how risky it can be. Just imagine buying hundreds or thousands of hoodies with having no idea whether they're gonna sell or not. That is a quick way to burn through cash and end up with boxes of unsold inventory. And that is where Printful comes in. With Printful's print on demand, you don't pay a single cent until the customer buys from you. They handle the printing and the shipping direct to your customer, no inventory, no stress. Printful also has local fulfillment centers in Europe and America, which means no fees on imports, faster shipping, and way less hassle to you. And here is how simple it is to start. Number one, you choose your niche. Two, pick a product from Printful's catalog. It can be a t-shirt, a hoodie, a mug. They have thousands of options. Number three, you go in, you upload your design, you scale it, you make sure it's perfect. And then number four, you connect your Printful account to Shopify and click publish. And then after that, all you have to do is market your store. TikTok, Instagram, influencer ads, whatever works for you. Printful will take care of the rest. So if you have ever thought about starting your own brand, this is the absolute safest way to make it happen, which is also another piece of advice that my dad gave to me. Whenever you're starting a business, you always want to start it as lean as you possibly can, which means as low upfront cost as possible with as little risk as you can, and this is the best way to do that. So if you want to start a brand for yourself today in any way, click the link in the description and start right now with Printful. And now I'll send you guys back to the video. Found the shuttle stop. Big trees. You got room? Yeah. Awesome. So I figured first stop of the day would be best to get a bird's eye view. So we're hiking up to the tippy top of that rock so we can see over everything, kind of get a feel for where we're at. But a few years ago, a fire did come through Sequoia National Park. It was a huge fire and a large portion of the park actually burned down. Some of the trees Survived it. And the pork staff actually even, for some of the bigger, more famous trees, put heat-resistant blankets around the base of them to protect them from the fires, which is pretty interesting. And they survived, so not all of them. These guys didn't make it, but those guys did. So this rock is called Moro Rock, and it gets its name from a blue roan horse that scrambled up in the 1800s. I don't really know if that's true. That's the lore of where it got its name from. It's kind of cool to think about back in the 1800s, a cowboy on his horse looking at this and saying, yeah, I can go up that. Look at that. It's beautiful. Coming from sea level to this elevation is really making it hard to catch my breath, especially going from sitting in the van to walking up these stairs. Or maybe I'm just out of shape, I don't know. This is just terrifying. I can't even imagine having to build this trail. No shot. And on top of that, doing this in the 1930s, when they built this staircase, they carved 350 steps up to the top. I'm gonna pass out. Get a good view of the road we took to get up here. The most windy road I've ever driven in my life. Borderline made me dizzy. This is crazy. Like, how do you carve this? Imagine coming up here and making this in the 1930s. Where they probably give you a hammer and a bag of lunch and say good luck. Oh, there's more. I thought I was there. It's funny. Oh, I made it. Oh my God. So this is it. The end of Moro Rock. This massive granite dome that rises above the forest. The rock itself started as molten magma underground and cooled into granodiorite. I think that's how you say it. Not too sure. And then millions of years of erosion left it standing like this. A single chunk of granite that's been here for millions of years. The rock is also just like one giant lightning rod, so it's not advised to go up there in a storm, which makes sense because it's pretty much the tallest thing out here. These sweat stains from my backpack are disgusting. Should have worn a different color t-shirt. It is so nice to be out of the heat. It's still a little bit hot in the back of the van, but it is definitely not 100 degrees. Feels nice. I started playing this round of Monopoly deal on the bus, so I gotta finish that. And I'm gonna make some lunch because I'm starving. I win. Anyways, I don't know if I have any real lunch food. I'm getting kind of hungry. We had kind of a small breakfast today, so I don't really know what I got. We're just gonna do brunch. Not a bad view among the giants to cook breakfast. Also, this olive oil does feel pretty pressurized, and I bet you from the elevation change in the temperature, when I open this, it's just gonna come spraying out. No pressure on this at all. Oh! There you go. Learned that one the hard way. This tube meat is always so off-putting when I use it. There really isn't much that beats going on a hike and then being able to come back to your house while still in the park and cook breakfast. I'm also really enjoying these new bowls I got, the yellow ones. Normally I go for a pretty monotone color scheme, as you can tell by my van, but I like this. A little bit of gochujang on there. Oh God. Again, learning things the hard way. As long as I don't open sauce containers and stuff upside down, I'm fine, but sometimes I just forget. And now I have way more ketchup on my breakfast than I wanted. A little extra ketchup never hurt anybody, except for some of you guys in my comments who apparently hate the fact that I put ketchup on my eggs. or on anything for that matter. I love ketchup, always will, and nobody can stop me. It's also nice coming out to places like this for the day because I am completely disconnected from everything because I have no service, which is definitely nice every once in a while. And we got here early, got a parking spot, take the shuttle everywhere. Don't have to rush around. And I went to the store yesterday night to get some ingredients for tonight's dinner, which is going to be Bibimbap, which I'm super pumped for. But more so than that, I'm actually more pumped to be out of the heat. And it's going to be a nice cool night to sleep tonight. I won't have to use my portable IC like I did last night. Had it blasting all night long. All right, breakfast is done. Front, whatever you want to call it. Putting my backpack on in the front because that's the one. Because I'm giving my back a break from sweating so much. So hopefully that gives it a chance to dry out, but we're off to the next stop in the park, which is the one that I'm most excited for, and that is the General Sherman tree, aka the largest living thing on Earth by volume, pound for pound, bigger than anything else that's alive on this planet, other than your mom. But we gotta catch another shuttle before we get there, so I will see you guys there. And this is it, Sherman tree. And I know this camera is not doing it justice, but this thing is absolutely massive. I wish I could get up close to it, but there's about 600 people online waiting to take a picture with this tree, so I can't get up there because I don't want to ruin anyone's picture. And these trees really aren't just big, they are the largest living organisms on the planet. And the Sherman tree over there is the tallest and biggest of them all, 275 feet tall, 36 feet at its base, and 2.7 million pounds. And the craziest thing about it is that it started from a seed smaller than a grain of oatmeal. And it's 23 to 2,700 years old, which means that when that tree was a seedling, the Roman Republic hadn't even been founded yet. I'm just walking around now trying to get some pictures on my nicer camera. So if I get any good ones, they'll be here. Back to the van. Hiked around for a few hours. Saw a ton of big trees, but I'm honestly tired of walking. I probably walked like 8 miles. I'm gonna drive like 45 to an hour down the road. Also, it's sick. I didn't know you could do this, but you can download like a section of the map before you go into an area, like onto your phone, so that you can still use maps while you're in that spot. So I have like no service right now. It says 1 bar, but I basically have nothing. But I downloaded the map, so now I can put in the GPS coordinates to where I want to camp tonight, and I can actually drive there, which is pretty cool. But we're about an hour away. And I do want to kind of get there early because it is a Saturday. There's a billion people here, which means there's going to be a billion people looking for campsites. And that's what sucks about coming to national parks on the weekend. We're out of the national park now, and we are in the Sequoia National Forest Wilderness, looking for hopefully a nice campsite for the night, but we'll see. My first time up here, so I don't really know what it's gonna look like. All right, so unfortunately the spot that we wanted was taken. It's the thing about not having reserved campsites is sometimes you drive 4 miles down a dirt road, it takes you 30 minutes, and then you get there and you find out the campsite is taken. But there was a kind of semi-campsite just off the road, back the ways a little bit that I'm gonna go to. There she is. There we go, that's as good as it's gonna get. I hate using my leveling chocks to level out the van. So whenever I can find a spot that's decently level, this is definitely not perfect. I'm definitely forward a little bit, but it'll do. What a great spot. My own little private hiking area. Beautiful out here. Got all the doors open too, because even though we are at 7,000 feet elevation, it's still like 75 degrees right now. It'll cool off super nicely tonight, but I do not have a single bar of service. So first things first, Starlink. I just ordered the new version of this too. Just waiting for it to get in. The mini, so I don't have to use this gigantic dish and gigantic router, which will make it so much easier to use than this. Maybe I can even permanently mount it to the van. But I should have a good enough view of the sky, clear enough view to use it. Also, another benefit of the new Starlink is it's not AC, so it doesn't use your standard house plug. It uses just DC, so I don't have to have my inverter on to use it. Less power, smaller, all around better. I've had this thing for like 2 years, so I figured it was time to upgrade. Since we got to camp a little bit early, still got a decent amount of time before sunset, so I'm not gonna be lazy. We're gonna get a workout in. Out here in this forest. Cue super epic workout montage. I sat on my hammock after working out. I had some music playing. It was actually kind of a nice workout. Now we're relaxing. These trees that I put the hammock on are covered in this like rusty red. It looks like tahini seasoned white goop. I don't know why it's red or what's making it look like it's seasoned with tahini, but it's kind of off-putting and I can't get it off my hands. It's covering my hands. And it smells so good. It smells sweet like vanilla or like Christmas. But nice little spot for a hammock. Relaxing that maybe a little bit later tonight. But for now, I'm gonna get started on dinner because I am getting quite hungry, actually. Haven't eaten since breakfast. So the piece that's gonna take the longest, I've kind of already done a little bit of the work. So last night, this is a piece of skin-on pork belly that I bought a few days ago from a farmer's market. And I thawed it out last night. Seasoned it with salt, pepper, and honey. It was supposed to be sugar, but I didn't have any sugar, so I felt honey was a decent enough alternative. It sounded good. Cut this little cross-hatching pattern in the top, and now we're gonna bake it for like 2 hours, and hopefully this gets nice and crispy and cooked all the way through, and that's gonna be the meat for our bibimbap. Bibimbap, bibimbap, bibimbap. So first things first, get our oven preheated. And we'll let that get up to around 400, 425. And we'll get our pork belly in there. And then we'll wait for that oven to preheat and the pork to cook. And we get started prepping the rest of our toppings for the bibimbap. And that starts with peeling and julienning these carrots and then chopping up this cucumber. Alright, so I think that's all the prep we have to do, unless I'm forgetting something, which I don't think I am, but probably am. Who knows? Now we can take our cucumbers, season them boys up with a little bit of salt. Get those nice and coated, and we'll let those cure at room temperature for about 15 minutes to draw some of that water out. So we'll just take those and set those aside for now. Some of the other ingredients. And then for the carrots, I could just leave them plain. But I feel like that's just a little bit too boring. So we're gonna add a little bit of seasoning to this. I'm kind of just making this up. So I'm going to add a little bit of sesame oil, a touch of gochujang, a little hoisin for some sweetness, and top that all off with soy sauce. And then we'll stir that all together. And we'll let these marinate in their sauce concoction until we're ready to use them. And then for our final little piece of prep, we're gonna cook some spinach. Got this nice, beautiful, fresh bunch of spinach at the store last night. Throw some sesame oil in the pan and let that get nice and hot. Plot twist. I took the pork belly pot and put it up here because this bigger pot, I couldn't fit it with the rack on the higher level, and I wanted the pork belly to be up higher so it doesn't burn since the flame is like right below it. So I swapped them out. We're gonna cook the spinach in this one. And then I put the pork belly in the one that the spinach was going to cook. And it's crazy how big the spinach looks now and how little it turns into when it's done cooking. Now we can hit this spinach with a little salt, some pepper, and then we'll cook that until it's fully wilted and then the garlic is nice and fragrant. And that's pretty much it for our spinach. And there we go. And now that our cucumbers have cured for about 20 minutes, you can see the water has drained out of them, which is exactly what we wanted, so we'll get rid of that. Oop, lost a few along the way. Then we'll give these a quick rinse. And then I was gonna coat these in a chili crisp oil, but I could not find any for the life of me at the store. So instead of that, we're gonna use this chili paste, which is kind of the same-ish type thing. So we'll just throw some of that on there, and that is gonna be our cucumber topping. Get those nice and mixed together. All right, it's time to close the doors, I think, because there's a bear over there digging through something. So we don't want him coming to mess with us while we're cooking. I'm gonna get these doors closed really fast. Need to get some more bear spray. Probably smelled my cooking. I don't blame him for wanting to come try it out. I think I might have scared him off. I'm not too sure, but he was, oh no, he's right there. You can see the branch moving. He's right behind that bush right there. Right behind that bush. He's like ripping something apart. I can see his ears. See him? I hope you guys can see him. There he goes. He's leaving. It's a big black bear. That thing is huge. Leave me alone tonight, Mr. Bear. Wonder if he can smell what I'm cooking. He's walking away. He's going back up into the hills over there. It's also nice that it was a black bear, not a brown bear, because black bears are a little bit less aggressive than brown bears. But we'll definitely keep an eye out for any more bears coming to eat my dinner. And there we go. That is all of our sides pretty much finished up. Pork belly is kind of getting burnt on the bottom. It's so hard to get this oven to not burn the bottom of things because it burns so hot, so close to it. But still hoping for the best. We got to roast it at around 250 for an hour. My oven only goes down to 300, so I got to kind of just open the door every so often, let the temperature down. But final thing we got to do for this recipe, the piece de resistance, is the bibimbap sauce. 3 tablespoons rice vinegar. 1 teaspoon of dark soy sauce. 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm not going to measure this. That seems about right. 5 tablespoons of gochujang. Also not going to measure that one. We're just going for it. Now, all we got to do is wait for the pork to finish. And hopefully it's not too burnt. Alright, so I just realized I recorded the last 4 clips in entirely slow motion, which means my entire shower turned out to be a 45-minute clip in slow motion. But basically I was just feeling dirty. Felt gross. So I decided to set up my shower outside of the van. Took a nice outdoor shower, had my water heater on. Water was nice and hot. That pork is looking delicious. Bottom is most definitely burnt. Yeah, I mean, nothing I can do about that, but it's honestly not too bad. Yeah, I got a new shower head that works 10 times better. I can hook it up outside. Got me feeling nice and fresh, ready to eat dinner. And everything has come together perfectly. We've got our toppings all done up and looking pretty. Got our pork belly. Show you guys the prettier side. Nice and roasted. Not crispy like I wanted, but what can you do? We got our rice, so now let's assemble. I'm actually gonna let that pork cool off for like 15 minutes because I know it's blazing hot. I also had a family walk over to the van when I was in my underwear getting changed, asking me if they could share the spot with me. So they're setting up a tent back there now. But I told him I didn't mind. I never mind when people want to share a spot because I know it's like to be driving around forever and not be able to find a spot. So no harm, no foul. All right, time to cut into this bad boy. Look at that. That is a juicy, it is a juicy looking piece of pork belly. Look at that. Beautiful. There we go. Pork belly's done. Everything's done. Let's plate it up. We've got our nice base layer of rice. Before we finish that, I almost forgot. The final ingredient is a fried egg, so fry them up real quick. Now we can plate. Make sure to get a few money shots of this delicious looking bowl. Nice lighting. Beautiful. And the final thing, destroy this beautiful looking plate. Throw the sauce right over it. All that's left to do is to mix everything together. Cheers. Pork skin actually got a little crispy. It's not to where I would have liked it. But man, this is good. Wow. I'm gonna be honest though, while this is pretty good, it's not my favorite bowl. There's a lot of bowls I would eat over this, but I would absolutely not be complaining if there was a bowl of this in front of me. This is fantastic. It's definitely a little spicy, but nothing I can't handle.
Hello.
How's it going? I don't know what they're doing though. They got these crates, like these milk box crates, and they just walk down into the forest with them. I don't know what's down there or what they're doing, but I'm so curious. All right, makes sense now. I just saw them walking up the ridge over there. They were getting firewood. But that is a wrap on the Giant Trees Bibimbap extravaganza. Now I can just sit back and enjoy the rest of the night. So we had a slow morning this morning. Woke up a little late. FaceTime my girlfriend when I woke up. Making some breakfast, yogurt, strawberries, and I just realized that I grabbed a fork for my yogurt, but it reminded me of when I was a kid. My dad, I don't know why, but he had this little song he would sing when we were doing something, or just when he was in the kitchen. He'd be like, "My name is Ryan and I'm a dork. I eat my pudding with a fork." And now we've come full circle. Look at me eating my yogurt with a fork. Oh, but we got such a good night's sleep last night. It was like 80 degrees during the day, so it was nice and warm, especially for the shower and hanging out up here. I also moved the van back. I was there earlier, but I moved it here this morning because this is more in the light, so my solar panels get power because I'm running low from running my Starlink all night. But it got nice and cold last night, which was a nice change from being in the heat. It was like 65. Slept like a little baby. Woke up covered in drool, actually. But with that, I think it is time to get packed up, my chair, my hammock, and we're on the move again. I think we're gonna stay up in the mountains for foreseeable future, because even up here it's pretty hot during the day, so I just know down in the valley it's got to be 110 degrees, but it's much more bearable up here. So with that, I always appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, think about clicking that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.